My 2-4 husband 2-3 meth faked fainting after I gave birth. My husband and I have been together for 5 years. I want to start by saying that, despite his quirks, my husband is genuinely sweet and hardworking. I truly believe he loves me deeply, tries his best, and has always dreamed of being a husband and father. That's why this whole situation has left me confused and conflicted. We got pregnant a bit sooner than expected, though it wasn't entirely unplanned. In the first trimester, I was lucky to avoid nausea, but the fatigue hit me hard, especially during my final university exams. I had to nap for 1-2 hours every afternoon just to function. At the time, we didn't know that this kind of exhaustion was a normal pregnancy symptom, and I was so focused on school that I didn't think much of it. Meanwhile, my husband quietly started resenting me. He thought I was being lazy because I wasn't keeping up with the housework, which, except for dishes, was mostly my responsibility. Thankfully, a friend asked if I'd been hit by the tiredness and explained that it is important I rest. He seemed to understand, but I guess it bugs me that faced with his wife being utterly exhausted, his first reaction was to think of me as lazy and be annoyed rather than concerned. Throughout the rest of my pregnancy, his attitude often fell off. He would get annoyed by what I thought were small requests, like bringing me water before bed, and complained about the size of my pregnancy pillow, while he always apologized later on if I let myself get sad about it. I felt like there was something he wasn't saying. Friends told me to enjoy the pregnancy pampering, but I didn't experience any of that. He treated me the same as before, and seemed irritated when I couldn't keep up. Despite everything, I had a fairly easy pregnancy physically, and emotionally I responded very well to the crazy levels of estrogen, making me quite happy and hopeful. I stayed upbeat and tried to be as pleasant and positive as possible. During this time, he started getting really into these men's experiences during pregnancy podcasts, and would vent about how no one considers what fathers go through, which I sympathized with. Then came the birth. After a long and sleepless labor, I needed an emergency section. I gave birth around midnight, and since partners couldn't stay overnight, he went home. I stayed awake with our newborn for a 4th night in a row. When he returned the next morning, he told me he had fainted on the way home, showing me how dirty his jacket was after falling. I was concerned, but I was so depleted I could barely process it. During our hospital stay, he brought food and held the baby while I slept, but his attitude still felt annoyed. I chalked it up to stress. Then came the newborn phase. Our son was colicky, I was exhausted, and we argued constantly. I couldn't be my usual sweet self, and I desperately needed emotional support. He, on the other hand, seemed to want sympathy too. At one point, it had been 5 days since the baby had a bath, and he inquired of me annoyed. I didn't turn on my filter and said, "Why don't you give him a bath then?" He responded with that he didn't know how and was upset. I told him to Google it. He felt overwhelmed working 3-4 hours a day and microwaving meals twice daily, so researching baby baths was apparently too much. I ended up taking our baby to all his appointments alone because my husband looked so irritated when tired that nurses started asking questions. I could say a lot more, but here's my main concern recently. We revisited the topic of my pregnancy and our son's birth. I told him I felt unsupported during that time. That's when he confessed that he lied about fainting after the birth, so I would feel bad for him. He apparently only slipped on the ice. He felt ignored and unimportant during the pregnancy. Every time he talked to friends, they told him to focus on supporting me, and he started to feel invisible. While I understand the desire to feel seen, to lie about something like this when I truly needed support feels deeply hurtful. I explained that being a supportive partner is not meaningless. It's actually a vital, powerful role. He was remorseful, but I don't know if this is expecting too much from him. Things are better between us today, but honestly, I don't think I want him with me the next time I give birth. I feel like it would be easier to mentally prepare for doing it alone than to split my emotional focus between giving birth, the baby, and managing his feelings again. Dear, my husband lied about fainting after I gave birth to our son. I feel unsupported, but I am scared. I am putting too much pressure on him. How do we move forward from this?